welcome. We are Friends of Figma, the Miami chapter, and we're really glad that you joined us today. Um, so, just really quick, uh, Friends of Figma exists for everyone interested in learning more about Figma and design, and our goal is to share best practices, to learn together and lift each other up. We encourage you all to have fun and always foster inclusivity. And we also hope that you get to meet somebody new today and make some new friends. Now I'd like to introduce a team of community advocates who organize these events. From right to left, I'm Jonathan. I am a product designer at DocuSign, and I am originally from Colombia. I am also a musician, and I enjoy trying new foods. So if you have any restaurant recommendations in Miami, feel free to share those in the chat. And next, I'll let Jackie introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. We're so happy you guys joined us tonight. I am Jackie. I am originally from Brazil. I'm a UX visual designer at GE, and I am a huge Figma fan. So, welcome, and I hope you guys have fun while learning FigJam.
And I'm the last one. I'm Beto Navarro. I'm originally from Ecuador, and I'm currently a product designer at Amazon. And I do have a little side business called Oak Studio where I do kind of like my freelancing. So welcome everyone. This is our little team that we have here trying to organize these events for you. I would just want to do a quick shout out for the featured attendees. Thank you for just doing that, both signing for the event. So thank you, Cherry, Juno, Andrea, Vanessa, Kevin, Gabriela, and Lawton for joining us. And if you want to be a featured attendee the next event, just feel free to do so, and we do a quick shout. We won't try to make you show up in camera, don't worry. So it's just a good thing just for networking. And well, Sun Beach and Figma, we're celebrating our first year of doing these events. I started this back on October 2020, in the middle of the pandemic, as you can imagine. Just to, for the love of design, I saw opportunity to make a Miami chapter group. It was just me, but I'm just really happy that now I have Jackie and Jonathan helping me doing these events. So thank you. We usually try to do this quarterly, but hopefully we'll try to do these more often, these events for you. And hopefully, really hopefully, hopefully we can be in person sometime in the next year. So thank you for joining.
Yeah, thanks, Beto. Yeah, happy 1 year anniversary. This is a really awesome community. And if you didn't know, Friends of Figma is a global community with more than 100+ city groups worldwide. And each city has their own chapter. And it's really awesome because, you get to meet people, you get to interact with others. So if you want to find out more information about Friends of Figma, make sure that you go to Friends of Figma, the URL friends.figma.com for more information. There it is, friends.figma.com/Miami. We are Friends of Figma Miami. So if you also want to, stay in the loop into what events are happening in the coming months, feel free to follow us in social media as well as visiting the URL. As you may know, there are multiple groups that make up our UX community here in South Florida. We help each other as a UX community, and which is why we would like to take a few minutes to mention some of them in case anybody's interested to join. One of the great partners is UX Fajitas, which is a meetup group, and they usually have an event every first week of the month. So feel free to join their meetups. For more information, you can visit their meetup page. Another awesome partner is the Interaction Design Association, also known as IXDA. And they're a Miami local meetup group that exists to bring together designers from all backgrounds and domains within the realm of interaction design. Their talks are really, really interesting, so feel free to join their group as well. For more information, be sure to visit their URL. Ironhack, as most of you should know, is an international school founded in 2013 with campuses in multiple cities, including Miami. and they focus on UI, UX, web development, analytics, and so much more. So if you'd like to find out more information about it, make sure you go to ironhack.com. Um, the second to last is Flux. Yeah, I don't know if you've heard of it, but it stands for Florida User Experience, and it's a community of mentors and members from the UX field. And this is a great resource for you to connect with the UX community here in South Florida. And if you're actually just starting in UX, you can actually book time with mentors who volunteer their time to help the community flourish. So for more information on mentoring or connecting with other folks in the industry, visit fluxhours.com. And there's also a Slack channel, and you can also visit fluxia.slack.channel to find out more information about that. And the last partner is SO Flux, and that is another great meetup where you can meet others interested in all aspects of user experience. So feel free to join by visiting their meetup page. And now for the main part of this event, I will let Jackie introduce our special guest this evening. So take it away, Jackie.
Awesome. Thank you, Jonathan. So we are all here tonight to watch this amazing event presented by the one and only Miggi from Figma. Um, Miggi used to be is still actually a professor at the new media design at RIT, and he's a lead designer at imgix, IMGIX. He's got more than 17 years of experience, and he's always putting together a bunch of cool content. If you guys haven't checked out his Instagram account, LinkedIn, go ahead. All kinds of UX Figma content. That's pretty cool. We're very excited that he's actually here tonight, straight from Figma. He's an educator at Figma, and he's here to present this fun and interactive session on FigJam, and I'm pretty sure you guys are going to have a great time. He's sharing actually a link with us on the chat so we can all participate, but I'll let him go ahead and start presenting, and take it away, Miggi.
All right, let's see. I'm going to get my...
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Jackie, Beitzo, and Jonathan. I'm going to begin by sharing my screen. Let me just get the proper window going. Okay, so I shared with you all a FigJam document. So if you see that link in the chat, you can just go right to it. One of the things that I'm using right now, even if you do not have a Figma account, you're not logged into Figma, you should be able to access this. I'm using a new feature that some people have access to. It's called an open session. So you're using some of the newness. All right, so as mentioned, I'm a designer advocate for education here at Figma. I'm on leave from RIT currently, so I'm technically a professor still at RIT here in Rochester, New York. Couple things. I'm probably a little bit more active on Twitter, so if you could check out my Instagram, I'll throw my Instagram on here. So like instagram.com/instamiggy, but also definitely check out my Twitter. I'm a little bit more active on there with some of the content. So this is FigJam. Many of you may be new to FigJam. I'm only seeing about 11 people in this document. So like, if you're an attendee, you definitely want to be in the doc. And like I said, it doesn't require a special Figma account. You don't even need to be logged in. If you're worried about, like your work account or something, like whatever, you could just log right in. You don't need anything special. So the first thing is to those of you in the document, right? I could start to see your cursors. I'm going to walk you through some of the initial delighters that we have in FigJam. Since FigJam is all about communication and chatting with people and connecting on a human level, there are some special features that we have. So if you press the E key, right, and you press it twice, you'll actually see this little icon pop up, right? So if you're looking at my screen or if you're doing it yourself, right, this is the emote wheel, right? So I'm going to click and drag that, and then I can basically drop some emotes. Everybody will see those emotes. So I can choose the little love eyes. I could drop in some flames. I could say that's fresh. And And then also you'll see that there's a little stamp here, right? So this stamp is the, will actually place things onto the canvas. So you can actually stamp your profile. So let's say if you are facilitating like an event and you want to have like some kind of like little voting there. So I'm just stamping my profile. If you don't have a profile on your account, like a photo, I can easily show you how to use that. A couple other things, cursor chat. If you press /, you can say hello. So I'd like for two of y'all to say hello to me. So if you press the / key, now, if you're coming in from like some other place, if you're coming in from like Barcelona, like y'all got different keyboards, so we understand that. So if you right click, you can also pull up the cursor chat. So for whatever reason, if you're unable to trip that, right? See, I see Jonathan saying hello. All right, I'm seeing some of y'all. There's Lauren saying hey. So this is great. So this is a nice way for people to kind of like have ephemeral chat while working together, working with one another. And then lastly, over here, the high five. So one thing that I was mentioning and talking with Jackie at all earlier was that I had the opportunity to be on a few FigJam sprints here at Figma, and the high five was one that I got to work on. So I'm particularly fond of it. So if you press and hold the H key, right, you'll see a little hand. So if somebody else brings their hand near mine, so I see Nani, there you are. You want to come over, and then we get like high five. So then you just bring it close so we can, do that and celebrate, and just kind of connect, even though we're all so far away. So a little bit on the agenda. I'm going to do some introductions because this is an interactive presentation. I want y'all to interact with me. So I know that there's about 17 attendees. So I think that there's a fair number of cards. If you look over here on the right, once again, to navigate this document, hold down the space bar and drag. So that's what I'm doing. If I didn't mention it before, I'm holding down the space bar and I'm dragging. I have it set up so I can zoom in and out. If you don't have like scrolling, if you can, it's you have a controlling set up like a little bit different. You could actually use the plus and minus over there on the left, or you can hit Command-0 to zoom out to 100%. I think I just lost my zoom. There we go. So there you all are. And you'll see that I have these little cards. Now, we'll talk about these cards in a little bit. These were actually constructed in Figma and brought over into FigJam. And they're making use of some things like auto layout variants. So if you're familiar with some of those advanced things in Figma, you know what's constructing and under the hood with these. Otherwise, I'll walk you through. So basically, I have like a little card. I usually use this for like teaching a class. That's why it says instructor. So I'm actually just going to delete that second card, get rid of this one. And I'm going to walk you through how I'm going to put this here. And I encourage you all to introduce yourselves with a little card, occupy one of those cards, and fill it out. So I'm going to walk you through. If you just want to watch me for the time being, what I'm going to do is I'm going to double click right here. And when I double click and I select this object, there's a little icon up here. And what that's going to allow me to do is actually just drop my portrait right in that space. And I think I have one here in my assets folder. What is it? Profile photos. And I'm going to drop that one in there. And it's basically going to place inside of that shape. So I have my little profile photo, so I could say hello, and then I could drop in my name. So just click twice into that card, and I could type in Miguel Cardona, and you see it expands. I've officially rebranded professionally as Miggi. I don't know if y'all know the current Secretary of Education of the United States. We have the exact same name. His family's from Aguada, Puerto Rico, and my family's from Aguadilla, Puerto Rico. So we're very, it's hard to discern. He's destroying my SEO. So I've officially just rebranded to Miggi. It's a childhood nickname. So my pronouns are he, him, if you feel like filling out your pronouns, it's not necessary. What is my hometown? And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to press return and type in. So I'm going to say I'm from Buffalo, New York. What do I create? Something interesting you may not know about me. I draw on coffee cups. You could actually check out my other Instagram, Sketch Cups, if you want to find out a little bit about that. I will bold it in case you are at all curious. And what is it that I enjoy doing most? I just enjoy being outside and teaching. I just love teaching. I really do enjoy connecting with individuals and helping them to level up and make something of themselves in their life. So I'll see here. All right, Jonathan, you got the card going. Gabby, Nice to meet you. Christina, what's up? Beto, gotta get a little profile photo on there. Vanessa, nice to meet you. And Sinan, nice to meet you. Portland, Oregon. Cool. So one other last thing I'm going to show you. If you don't like the color of the card that you have, you couldn't find one that matched for you. What's really cool is this because it's constructed using Figma components. So if I double click right on that color, you'll see this little shape up top with a little component, and I can go ahead and choose an alternate version. So this is actually constructed using a component set. So I have all these different variants, and I can go ahead and choose that right there. So it's just lovely to see some of y'all faces to join on this workshop today. So we got Richmond, Virginia, Miami, Florida, Fairfax, Virginia, San Jose, California. I used to live in San Francisco myself. So when I worked at imgix, that's how you pronounce it, imgix. imgix, nobody in their right mind can pronounce it right. So don't even worry about it. I have this like horror story that all of the first companies that I worked for, just their names you could not say over the phone, right? So like I've since learned, if you're going to like start a company, make sure you could say the name over a phone so somebody can understand you and what it is, or at least say it easily. So my first company was Dumbwaiter Design. That did not go well. Don't ever put the word dumb in the name of your startup. All right, cool. So now that we got this going on here, you can actually throw some stickers. You could like dial it up a little bit. So what I like to do, I have a little star on mine. If I press the E key, right, there's a few other little things here. So I can go ahead and click on like a little thumbs up. So you can like go to other people and you could drop like a little star and you could be like, hey, what's up? How's it going? What's up? Yo, I'm just going to put a bunch of stars over there on Beto. Right. So one really cool thing is that we actually use FigJam in all of our stand-ups, right? So like every Monday, my team, I'm on the community team at Figma. We actually share photos from our weekend, right? Oftentimes we'll have a prompt too. We'll say like, okay, something just to get to know each other. And, I always think it's important to, have some camaraderie with your team. You kind of just open up and you have a space where you can just kind of like socialize and have some fun. All right. So over here, if you want to like head on over, if you made your card, it's there, that's great. What I would like to know is, do you Figma? Do you use it sometimes? Do you use it at work? Do you use it on the weekends for your side projects? Are you a Figma enthusiast? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press the E key and drop my face. And if you've lost me, I'm over here on the left. So if you want to like kind of navigate, we're going to like migrate over here to the left. And you could just drop, your face. So I'll put it here. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. I make sound effects sometimes when I resize things. When I'm doing demos, it's just like, whoop, 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 and I don't even realize I do it. So go ahead. You could just drop a sticker and just kind of let me know where you're at. This is going to help me get a much better sense of some of the things that I will show you all today. And I will leave time for Q&A too. So if there's like anything that you all want me to demo, I'm more than happy to do that for you all as well. Cool. So one thing that I'm going to show you at this point. So like, let's say you don't have your like little like face with like your sticker, and you want to like change that up, or like, let's say, you're kind of navigating and, you're not yet familiar with like some of the keyboard shortcuts, right? Some of the keyboard shortcuts from Figma transfer over to FigJam pretty easily. So does anybody, the quick menu? So Command / or Command P. So you'll notice it right up here. I just turned it on. So if you look at my screen for a moment, or if you on your own screen want to hit Command / or like I said, Command P, you'll see this little menu that pops up at the center of your screen. It says search menus, commands, and plugins, right? So you can search things. And in the same way that I learned Figma by typing in keyboard shortcuts, and it brings up this keyboard shortcut panel at the bottom, right? You can also access it if you see a little like question mark on the lower right hand part of your screen. You click on that, there should be a line that says keyboard shortcuts. And there you can basically see the keyboard shortcuts that currently exist in FigJam, right? So, if you're the type of person who's going to be facilitating a lot of activities in FigJam and you really want to dig in to, like some of the in-depth shortcuts, right? Or let's say you just want to see what are some of the opportunities there, you can easily pull that up. So you can see that there's formatting for text. You can actually turn on and off the multiplayer cursors. So like, let's say if you're facilitating a workshop like I am, and I want to turn off the multiplayer cursors because it might, kind of keep me from being focused, or let's say, like that kind of distracts you a bit, you can turn those on and off. There's a number of different tools that, and you can do the same thing in Figma too. So usually the first two things I teach in Figma, FigJam, command/, type in keyboard shortcuts, and you can bring that up. Another cool thing is that it may just kind of enlighten you as to some of the features that you might not have been aware. So like even just like saved a version history, right? Some of the features that you have in Figma, like version history, also exist in FigJam. And that's something that not too many people are aware of. They just kind of think of it as this completely separate product. But, things like saving a local copy, saving to the version history, those are going to work the exact same way. In the same way too, if you're working with comments, if you press the C key, right, you can go ahead and leave comments just as you would in Figma. So there's a lot of carryovers, right? And oftentimes people kind of like lose track of that, but those features are there and they work out really well. Down here, I actually have a number of different kind of like shortcuts just to kind of like demonstrate some of the things that I'll walk you through in a moment, that we kind of have nice little UI, hacks around to just make it a little bit easy. So first thing I'm going to talk about is Stickies, and I'm going to bring that over into like the question area. And I know it's a little bit early to bring it into the question area, but I want you all, if you have a question, to like, ask it at any time. And what I'll do is I'll come back to this area and answer it for you. I'm also going to use it as this area to demonstrate how Stickies work. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to press the S key, right? And that's going to pull up the Stickies. If you look down at the bottom of your screen, you'll also see, the sticky note. So you can just go ahead and just drag one of those onto the stage, right? And you'll actually see there's some nice little formatting that exists up here at the top. I could change the color of my sticky. If I want to add another sticky to the right, underneath, to the left, right? You see this little like plus button? It's just there. If when my sticky is selected, right, I just hit command return, it'll just create another sticky, right? It's like sticky bonanza. So I could just go ahead, select this sticky, command return, return, return. And, like I have a ton of stickies. So if you're trying to like set up like a little affinity board or, some diagrams, you could easily do that. Next, you'll see that this sticky is attributed to me. My name right here is Miggi from Figgy. You can actually turn that authorship off. So let's say if you're running a workshop and you want people to be able to write things and not show the attribution, they could easily turn that on and off. That's that little kind of quill icon up right over here. All right. So one other really cool thing, if you want to begin to create relationships between multiple objects. So let's say I go in here and I'll just say what my question is, right? Like I'll just say, how do component libraries from Figma connect to FigJam, right? And I'll ask that question. I'll bring it up in a little bit, but like let's say if I also said, how do FigJam stickers work? And I haven't even introduced you to stickers, but I can create a relationship between those two. And that's going to be just the L key. When I press the L key, and you notice when I pressed it down here, it's been highlighted, this little tool right here. So that's going to actually let me draw a line between those 2 points. And what's cool about that line is that line will, it'll stick, right? Which is great. And then next, if I want it to be, if I want to have a little bit more control over this line, you'll see that there's a couple of different shapes. So I could choose my line shape to actually, kind of like create like a little pipe network. So anybody out there play Super Mario Brothers, it's like the little green pipes. As a matter of fact, I will change that color to green. Right. So now I have a nice little green line between the two. I can further change up the style of this line. Let's say I wanted to demonstrate, like where it's going from and where it's coming to. So I can set it going to itself. I could say I want to have it come from over here. Let's find a friend. All right, so this anonymous visitor over here asking me how to lock layers or components, right? I'm going to create a little sticky there. And I can even change how that little piping network works, right? So let's say I want to have a lot of control. I want to make like a really beautiful diagram. I can kind of like change that up. And I could even ask, put in a little thing, and then I'll say, ooh, locking, right? And I can go ahead and even change that background of that text. I could turn that on, right? So I can begin to have some control in how I format this. I can even move this like left and right. So there's a lot of visual control that you can have over putting this together, and it's fairly intuitive, right? You don't have to think too much about it. I just say, okay, cool. I want to move this thing down here. I want to move this left. So you asked a question about locking. I will tell you, if I want to lock this object right here, I'm actually going to right click and there's a lock unlock. So I'm going to take a little screen capture of that and I'm going to go right next to the anonymous person and I will show them exactly how to lock, right? So once that object's locked, oops, I didn't lock it. Let me lock it. So once this object is locked, right, has a little thing right there. So like if I try to do anything, nothing will happen. But if I click it, the little lock will pop up and then I can unlock it and now I can edit it again. All right. So yeah, so ask some questions. Ooh, I can see y'all are having some fun down there already. Cool. It's like freeform area. All right, so let me go back to my agenda so I don't get too lost. Much of what I just covered is kind of like in this first little row, right? We did stickies, authorship, mass stickies, lines, connectors, auto connectors, and connector labels. Look at that. We just covered that whole spread. So we'll do a few more things. If you look down here, you'll see this little icon. It's shaped just like the components in Figma. If I click on it, you can actually browse existing libraries. I saw that some of you had put some of them on there already. So we have some default libraries. Oh, look at that. Meeting Agenda Kit by Miggi. I wonder who that is. Ooh. But if we look a little bit to the right, there's Totes Emotes and Foodies by Skinny Ship. So these were just some artists that we commissioned to create some stickers to work in FigJam. What's really cool is that some of these stickers, so I'm going to drag this here. If you want to watch my screen, I'm going to demo how this sticker can actually be interactive, right? So it says my steps here, and then I can press return, here 2, here 3, and I can just keep on pressing return, and this just keeps on growing. Now, this is no different than the cards that I demonstrated with you earlier. It's nothing more than like a Figma component. I can copy and paste this object into Figma, and you will actually see the instance of it complete with how it's constructed with auto layout. So we may have some time to get there today. We may not, but at the very least, if you see something in FigJam like like a template or something and you're wondering how it works, you can copy paste elements between Figma and FigJam, right? And that's the one thing that I really want y'all to know. So even here, see the your text here, you can double select that and you can type it in. It's kind of great. All right. So yeah, we have a bunch of stuff in here. Oh, and another thing too, some of these also come with variants. So if I go to the Give Me a Hand sticker pack by Olenka, I can go ahead and I could drop one of these little stickers in here. I could drop that little sticker in here. And once again, if you watch my screen, you'll see the little variant component thing pop up at the top. And we're using variants here to change the color of the skin. So you can make a more inclusive icon set. All right, so let's see how we're doing. All right, I'm gonna go back to my agenda. I'm gonna make a copy of my agenda so I can follow it around with me. So this agenda clipboard that I have here that I'm like moving around is also like in the agenda kit, the one that I put together. So here, this was just some of my early explorations with kind of bringing things over. I have like a little note card. Let's see what else I have in here. I have little list items. And what's cool about the list items is I can say, thing to do, right? And I can have like a duplicate, also thing to do. And what's cool about this is because they're variants, right? I can say, oh, I didn't do that thing, or, oh, it's done, or, oh, hey, this thing is important. So I have these like little list objects that uses the variants to kind of switch between them, and the text will kind of like maintain that consistency. So this is a thing that is super important. Can't even spell, super impotent. And what I could do is I could select it, click the little variant icon, and say, oh, it's in process, right? So those are like little states, and hopefully, you know, we'll have something a little bit more native, you know, down the line. But it's pretty cool to kind of make these and have those available. All right. So let's go through the agenda. So we did the intro, we did some basics, we did a few of the delighters. I went through some of the tips. As mentioned, if you look at my screen, I could hit command / and there's things that I could do, like let's say grid, right? So I could actually show the dot grid. I can hide the dot grid, right? So there's like little things that, you know, you can do to kind of like make your experience just that much better. Stickers and components. Oh yeah, diagramming, right? You know, you want to make a diagram, you make a little shape here, and you can change what that shape is. So like say you want like a little rounded rectangle, I can scale it, you know, and this could be what is it, like step 1, right? You could change the formatting of that, so I can put in like a little heading, and then you just click plus and it'll automatically create a line between them. You could even select multiple of these objects and actually change the color of like everything. So I can make them all green, I can make them all red. um, if I had like, let's say I had like, you know, a few of these, let me change that shape to like a little square, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Like I got a few of these. I can select them all, and you'll see this little icon. You might be familiar with this icon from Figma, the arrange as grid. So I click that and check it out. I can actually rearrange these things and keep them all nice and orderly. And you could do that with pretty much any object that you have in Figma. So if you got like stickies that, y'all were like working and things got like a little bit, kind of conundrumish, right? You can easily go ahead, select them all, and then rearrange them. So, let's say here I have this object, it's yellow. I want to have a little bit more control over where it's placed. So I can just move that up. I can move that over, right? I could say, okay, this one I want up. I want that over. So by selecting that little dot in the middle, I can choose where it goes. Cool. So is this helpful so far? Here, let me see. Anybody in the chat? Any questions? Cool. I see y'all playing around, so I'm going to take that as a good sign, and I'm going to continue on. Let's take a look. So went through some of that. Import, export, right? So as we've been building out FigJam, we've been kind of making the product, like incrementally better, right? There's just more and more things. So one thing I'm going to do, I'm going to move into this little area kind of like hidden down here. And I'm going to turn up the template. So this isn't something we actually talked about publicly yet. You'll see, like, we'll start announcing this stuff. It's been kind of like slowly released. Actually, do y'all even see this? Am I leaking something? I hope I'm not leaking something. All right. So, so these templates are here. So a lot of these templates are made internally by Figmates. That's what we call each other. We call each other Figmates. I made this haiku composer. So I'm just going to go ahead and insert that template. And then boom, I have an entire template, just kind of brought in here. And that's cool. So like, let's say, you want to build out like a whole workshop and you want to look through some of the templates that we provided. Let's say the diagramming basics, right? I'm going to insert that template, and boom, I just dropped 2 community templates right into my FigJam file. So let's say if you wanted to have, more of a, like a multi-activity kind of like brainstorm or something that you want to run. Let me unlock that. It just has like a weird little extra thing in there. I'm probably gonna have to get rid of that. You could actually have like a multi-step, workshop. One thing about these titles, so this is a little bit of a trick, right? I was going to figure it out, and then they were just like, no, that's not what you're supposed to do. If you copy and paste a frame from Figma into FigJam, right? Then you can right click and set as thumbnail, right? So if you want to organize, you're like really super tidy with your files, and you want to set a thumbnail, the way to do that is going to be copying a frame over from Figma into FigJam. So that's how I'll actually create these. So if you look at my screen, let's go into a little bit of Figma interoperability really quick. Let me go a new tab. figma.com/new. Or you could just say, what is it, figma.new will create a new document. If you go figjam.new in your browser, it'll create a new document as long as you're logged in. So here I'm in Figma. You're not in this document with me. So if you want to watch my screen, I could show you. If I just copy and paste this over, right, this is just nothing more than a frame, right? All of these elements are in here. It's completely deconstructed. So I mentioned before, like one of these graphics right here, like this like little card that I have, I can copy that. I can bring it over to Figma. And when I paste it, I can actually deconstruct it. It's in here. There's my frame, there's the card instance, and you can, kind of like gasp and realize that Miggy from Figgy doesn't name his layers. I do not name my layers. I have to work on it. I have to get better. All y'all out there, hopefully, you're good, what is it, like design folk are good on your team, good team community member, and you name your layers. Like I got frame 6, frame 5. Technically those are names, so I'll just run by that. But anyways, so as I mentioned, you can dig down into this and you can actually see how the auto layout is constructed to produce this card. So if I select the card, like let's say right there, let me grab this, I could open it up and you could start to see how it's kind of like constructed. Here we go, auto layout. There it is. So you can actually see how my card is constructed. Like I have like pieces up here, and I could dig into this. And that would be like a whole nother Friends of Figma session, just talking about how to create these with cards. But let me know if that's something that you're interested in. And for the most part, those are copied over, but I can show you in a moment how to bring over a component library. So in the same way that you might be working on a design system and kind of creating like a library of components or working with an existing library of components, you can bring those over. So like, let's say here I'm going into my Figma file. I'm going to give this a name and I'm going to just say FOF Miami. And I'm going to make a quick item to like put into my library. Let's say if I wanted some like wireframe components, let's draw a rectangle. I'm going to give it like X, make that big. I'm going to make that into a component and I'll just call this, like wireframe. And then let's make a little like text field like hello, or I'll just say button because everybody does the button example. I'm going to press Shift A. I'm going to give it a fill. Let's give that a fill. Let's round those corners. Let's open up the padding around there. And I'm going to create this first as a component, then as a variant set. So this item will be a different color, maybe with some text that's different. And I'm going to call this what other than but button. So now I have two elements, right? I have two components, and I'm going to make these available in our file. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to choose, let me publish style and components. Oh, I have to move this to a team. Let me move it to the team. There we go. All right. And I'm going to hit publish. So it's publishing my library. And now that it's published in my library, if I go here, I can actually add a new library. So it says manage libraries, adding libraries, and I can look to see like what I have available. So here we go, FOF Miami. There it is, two components. I'm excited. I go add to file, and now it's going to look for an appropriate icon. If you got like a squarish component, it'll create that. I don't have one, but I'm going to click there, and there it is. There's my two things. So I have my button variant component that I can now swap out, and I have my wonderful wireframe component that I brought over. So these are now connected, via that library. So if you have a bunch of elements and you want to use this space to brainstorm, you have existing components, you want to make your own stickers. Here, let me make a fun sticker. Let me hop into another file. I'm going to bring my Captain America shield. Where is it? I got a bunch of stuff y'all shouldn't be seeing. Shh, don't look. Where's my shield? There's my shield. All right, you didn't see any of that other stuff. Okay, so there's my Captain America shield. I'm going to copy that. And actually, I can just paste it right in here. So then, boom, like I got a Captain America shield. And actually, I think it's all the individual pieces in FigJam. So if I actually, made it into a component, it'd be a lot better. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste that back. Here we go, Miami. I'm going to add that to my Friends of Figma Miami library. So here it is, my shield. I'm going to create that as a component, and I'm going to say shield. I was watching like the new Marvel show, What If? The finale was yesterday. Oh, it was great. That's why I made the shield. So now I'm going to go ahead. Oops, not mean to do that. I'm going to go ahead and publish my styles and components. There's my shield. I added it. And so now when I come into FigJam, I can go to my library and drop in my cap shield and then scale it down. And I can have like duplicates. And same thing as in Figma, if I drag it, you can hit Command D, and it'll just keep duplicating them. All right. How's everybody doing?
This is awesome. I am fascinated. Super cool, Miggi. I'm loving this.
Yeah, Miguel, how do you get work done? This is so much fun.
I know, right?
This is the fun thing about it for me. This is work. It's like, all right, cool. Like, how am I thinking about, how people engage or have fun and like, kind of work in this space. So that's the kind of great thing for me. All right, let's take a look. Where was my agenda? My agenda. Here it is. All right, so we did stickers component. Oh, import and export. So this is really cool. First, I'll do export because it's pretty easy. Let's say, I wanted to take, like, let's say I have this diagram over here, right? This diagram is like the perfect example. Let's say, like this has like the user story. It's got my little thing. Let's say I just want this set and I want it as either a PNG or a PDF, right? I just right click. You will see export selection. So it's Shift Command E. By the way, if I just want to like paste it into a Slack, it's Shift Command C, right? Or Shift Control C. You will see the shortcut show up. I like to offload my shortcuts into the interface, and I'll just read it and then I'll do it. So copy it as PNG if you want to just paste it over into Slack. But here we go. Let's export selection. I can choose. Do I want a PNG, JPEG, or PDF? Let's just choose PNG. I could choose the background to be grid, transparent, or solid. So let's leave it with the grid. Export area selection only or the entire file. I just want the selection and I hit export and doop, 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 doop. See, I make sound effects. All right, cool. So that did it. There's the PNG. I hit open and I don't think y'all will be able to see it because that's not the window that I'm sharing. But yeah, so then you should be able to download that and then like see your file and then that'll be great. So yeah, so just select it, hit export. Likewise, if let's say, I want to show you my Asana board, but I can't. You can actually take a bunch of stickies, right? So let's say if you all had some stickies over here, you can copy those stickies. Just hit Command C and paste it into an Asana board, and it'll create tasks. So here I'm gonna adjust. Let me change some things in my window here real quick and pull up an Asana board. All right, so then you all will be able to see a little of what I'm doing. Let me hide my desktop there. All right, let's see if Asana even loads right now. Okay, there it is. Let me go to my tasks, which is nice and empty. And I'm going to stop sharing for a second. I'm going to go back to share screen. I'm going to share my whole screen so you all can see everything that I'm sharing. All right, cool. So let me just move this out of the way. Boop, 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 boop. All right, cool. So I have my entire screen. So here I have my Asana board. Can you all see this okay? Jackie, you good?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So here's my Asana board. I'm going to copy this, and this. I'm going to hit Command C. And so when I go to my Asana board and hit paste, let's see if this works. There it is. Ah, cool. Yeah. So I created a new task. There it is. Hello, everyone. How's everyone doing? Hi, Liv. Hi, Cian. Hi, Mads. Right. So I think that was right. Yeah. Hi, Liv. Hi, Cian. Hi, Mads. So you can literally just basically take those and create those as elements. Likewise, if you have like Google Sheets, right? So like, let's say, let me just create a blank spreadsheet. Or actually, I think I have some here. Boom, boom, boom. This is my old office hours for when I used to teach. Let me go to like an archived office hours. I'll just grab some data here. So yeah, so I have like my students, right? And I just want to like grab like, so like let's say you have user research feedback in like some tables.
Yeah.
I can copy that, and when I come back into Figma and I hit paste, it'll just paste the stickies.
Wow, that is so super useful. I love this.
So you could just take that data, copy paste it right in. You can also hit / import and choose import from CSV. So if you have like comma separated values, if that's like a file that you have from like your user research, you can now just like import that right in. If you're looking for it, you can right click and then just go file, import from CSV. It's right here. So as mentioned before, if you're working on a team, right? Like I could save this to my version history, right? And I'll just save, all right, current states. I should probably name that something better. I'm terrible at naming. But if I want to look at my version history, right? So let's say you version history, show version history. There you go. I could actually see like all the previous versions. So let's say, for instance, I ran this entire exercise and I wanted a duplicate version of the way that it was when I first started, right? So if I want my version from like 637, before this existed, right, I can click on that and I have it in a previous state, right? And like y'all ain't seeing this, so I have some stuff here, right? So it's kind of refreshed and I can duplicate that. So I now have a duplicate of my earlier file, in my thing. So let's say I ran this workshop and I look at my file, and it's like a complete mess because we've been living in the file for a while. Oops, I did not mean to go back. Let me just go back in here. Miggy Figgy's Play Grind. That's so funny. Did I name that? Did somebody else name that? I don't know.
I think you did it.
I
I
think
know.
I think I did. I don't think I was paying attention when I did it, but I did it.
Mhm.
So yeah, so what that just did was it allowed me to look at an older version of the file. So because this one's a little bit more heavily lived in, I need that original one to like run a workshop. That's important for me.
Cool. So it does offer version control as well.
Yeah, so you will have the version control. The one thing that I do want to mention with that here, I'm gonna turn off my screen share. Just go back to the one screen because I realize it's a little bit tidier. Um, go back to share screen. I'm just gonna go back to my window. Okay. Yeah, so the one thing is it does need to be on at least a pro team or higher to have more than 30 days of version history. If you're like in a starter team, and by the way, in a starter team until I think at least the end of the year, you can create as many FigJam files for free as you want. So as long as it's in beta, you can create as many FigJam files, include as many people as you want to join on a FigJam team. All right. So I think I covered a fair amount. I always feel like that there's something that I may be missing. Let me take a look. So yeah, we talked about FigJam interoperability. We talked about templates, adding images. I'm going to just show you one thing really cool. So if I click here and like, let's say I drop in a photo, I'm in my profile photos. That's okay. So like, let's say I place a photo, right? If you want to crop it, you can click on crop. You can actually choose how you want to crop it. So if you want it to be in a circle, right? If you want it to be, landscape, if you want it to be, let's say, just square, right? You could easily do that and just kind of crop it as you need to see fit. So if I hold down the Option key, if I hold on the Shift key, right, I can move this as I need be and just press OK, and then it's good. And like I said, if you need to go back and you need to say, hey, I actually prefer this as a circle, kind of move that there and can kind of adjust that a little bit. So you see how fast it is. That's one of the things that like I kind of really kind of enjoy about that. And as mentioned, anything here, copy paste it between Figma. So if you're really, really big into Figma, running workshops with your team, collaborating with like, your content people, your product managers, you don't necessarily want them in your design files, but you want to bring things over. If you bring over those components, like let's say I make a change to my design system, right? So let's say we have like the Friends of Figma Miami. Look, it's got the little like Captain America shield right here. So if I make a change to that system and I want to push an update, I can go here. Let's make an update. Let's make this a component set. And let's make this Captain America shield. Let's give this star more points. So I'm gonna go here to this star and say like, all right, cool, we got like more bugged out Captain America shield. So now that this is ready, I can hit publish styles and components. I can see that that has changed. So I added that new style. And when I come back to my file, it'll see one component update. I click update, right? And it's good to go. So if I need to, now this has become a variant component and I can swap for my alternate Captain America shield. So let's say if you want to share like, component screens or elements, you can then push updates and then they will be reflected here in FigJam the same way that they would if you were like running a design system or creating components in Figma or an existing library that you then wanted to share with your team. Last thing, figma.com/community. There's a ton of templates. I've actually worked on a fair number of templates myself. But because, we got this template tool, this is kind of cool. So you could easily just kind of go in here and we're going to be adding to this, right? There's going to be tons more. So if you're doing research, if you're running workshops, if you're trying to just plan with your team, if you're doing a retrospective, stakeholder mapping, alignment scales, right? Diagramming. So if one of my favorite ones I actually made for students, let's see, it's user research. Here we go, user research activities in FigJam. So you click on this and you have like an entire kind of set of user research activities. So, persona generation with like, empathy map, says, does, thinks, feels, and then like little journey map stickies that I'm going to extend these lines out because somehow they got stuck.
This is awesome. There's no more need for Miro anymore. Everything is now living in Figma.
It's here. It's here in Figma.
Super cool.
Cool. So yeah, any questions from the community? I'll go
Yeah,
over to my question board. I know we kind of littered this with other things, but
I was gonna mention that you guys can type any questions on our Q&A tab. I did type the first question there. I was wondering if there's a way for us designers to create a new tab inside the library and add our own either favorites or create our own templates.
I mean, yeah. Well, so like when you publish like a library, it'll then become like available. So like, you all are able to see the FF Miami tab, right?
Yes.
When you click the like, so one thing I can actually put this off to the side so I can make this more accessible. When I click the plus, you can choose, which one's added. There's like a bunch of like default ones. So it's just a matter of, excuse me, adding which ones you want to add. If you're looking for something maybe like a little bit more specific, I'd be happy to to follow up or like take some feedback from that as well. But yeah, the way that a lot of people use it now, like either they might pre-populate a document with a bunch of their stickers, or what they do is if they're facilitating the workshop, they'll add the library to that document to make it available. But as long as it's on a team, so you need more than a starter plan to kind of create your own stickers. But it's something that we're kind of like looking to maybe like enhance a little bit more as well, maybe to the degree with which you're looking for.
Absolutely. I was actually mentioning the templates tab, the template icon on
Oh,
the
this
bottom.
one.
Yeah, that one. So either favorite or create my own tab with my, perhaps I created some kind of template that I use often at my work, and I wanted to have it there ready to be used at any moment. But maybe this is a feature, a future improvement to it. I don't think it's possible right now because I was playing with it, but
Mhm.
that would be cool.
Yeah, so what I would say is if you go to forum.figma.com, right, there's an opportunity there to ask questions and get feedback. I know that these templates, right, they're up right now, but we haven't acknowledged them publicly. We kind of have them there like on the slide to see who notices them. So this feature isn't even in its final form.
Yeah,
So like if that's something that you see and you respond to as I mentioned, forum.figma.com, forum.figma.com. You don't need any extra login. You just like logged in with your Figma account. If you go to the share feedback, by adding a post and mentioning, say, hey, I saw the new templates, I'd really like to pin my own and kind of keep my own. I guarantee you that this is how we listen the most.
that is
Right, there's
pretty
a lot
cool.
there, and I mean, I'm pretty sure just by like talking to me too, say, hey, like, love the templates feature. Really though, what's going to make it useful is for me to have a pinned of my favorites and also the ones that I created myself. um if you go to figma.com/community, right, you can publish your own to kind of share with others, right?
Oh, cool.
So if you go to figma.com/community, um, if you type in FigJam, right, you'll actually see anything that has this little purple icon that says made in FigJam, right? It's specific to FigJam. So you'll be able to find tons, like a bunch of these, like I said, they're user created. So, take with a grain of salt, like how good they are. Follow the ones that like usually Figma promotes. They'll be a little bit better. So like this one here is specific to Figma, the retrospective I mentioned.
Mm,
So you can click on the page. You'll be able to actually get a preview of like the whole file. You'll be able to zoom in, zoom out, and then you can just duplicate it, and then you'll have a version of it in your drafts. You could even
great.
remix these. So when you download this, open it up, you can make some changes and remix it, and then republish that out to the community.
Fantastic. Thank you, Miggy.
Oh, you're welcome. My pleasure.
So, okay, so we are 1 minute past 8. We want to open for, more questions. Does anybody want to know anything else? Curious about it? Want to say, want to tell us how cool this event was? If you want to see something similar coming up next, if you have any ideas for future events, we want to hear from you guys. This community would not be here without you guys.
Hey, Miggi. So right now, FigJam is still free, right?
Yeah, so right now I know for the year, FigJam is completely free. So even if you were to create a starter team, you'll be limited on the number of Figma files that you create, but you won't incur any limits on the FigJam files.
Okay. And do you know how the plans are going to be? I guess starting next year or not
Yeah,
yet?
yeah. I believe if you look in the help docs in the pricing page,
Mm-hmm.
I think like for pro users, it's like $8 per user. And and I don't know how set in stone those are going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so let's see. Was it FigJam pricing? Here we go. Pricing. So yeah, here we go. FigJam. So FigJam is free and in beta through 2021. In 2022, FigJam will have both free and paid plans.
Mm-hmm.
So you can still like have FigJam in like a starter plan.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, here we go. $3 and $5 per editor per month. They've already lowered the price.
Okay.
Cool.
So then you can click there to learn more. So I think the $3 is going to be the per user in the professional plan, and the
Mm-hmm.
$5 per user is in the and this is per editor. So you can have as many viewers as you want in the
Yeah.
file. So as mentioned, a viewer can leave comments. A viewer can actually emote. So like you can have somebody follow along and view like a presentation. They just can't put stuff onto the canvas other than comments.
Okay. Gotcha. I thought probably there can be a bundle if you have Figma, as an add-on, probably at FigJam as well.
Yeah, so I mean, so the reason that it's set up that way is you can choose, like, you can have people on your team that are FigJam only, and you can have people on your team that are Figma only, and you can have people that are like both. So depending on, you know, who wants to use like which product, and that's the way it's going to be handled. And like, I know it's one of those things too that, like, while it's in beta, you know, there still might be some deliberation over, you know, how it's received and how people, you know, would prefer for it to be. But you know, FigJam itself is kind of like, while it does have interoperability with Figma, it fundamentally kind of exists as its own product and has like its own feature sets. Last thing I didn't even show you, there's a timer. So I can actually turn on a timer and say, hey, you know, you want like 1 minute, 30 seconds, and hit play. And then I can set that timer. I can even minimize it and it'll show up here on the top. So let's say you're running a workshop and, you know, you only got like a minute left. You can actually set that up.
That's awesome. Does anyone has any questions on the chat, or we can? I mean, we have few people left, so maybe we can open some mics. Let's see. Setting some people as hosts so they can open their microphones.
Cool.
Miguel,
Yes.
this is Jonathan. What's your favorite feature from FigJam? What's your your go-to?
I mean, my favorite feature is just copy and pasting stuff from Figma, right? So like, I like to make templates and presentations and stuff. So just being able to like have something that I'll put together in Figma and then take over to FigJam for like a presentation, or like, I had a sticker making workshop, you know, not that long ago, where we made like auto layout stickers. And to me, that's really important because, like, you know, like I used to teach classes, I used to facilitate, and you know, not everybody was a Figma expert, so it was hard to do, you know, quick and easy things in Figma to brainstorm. But you know, it's like I get that perfect mix of like, all right, cool, now I have like my expertise in Figma and I got something else. Oops, I'm gonna end the timer.
Hands up, Miguel.
Yeah. You know, so like, you know, it's another way to like apply and kind of like build things for. So like, you know, I mentioned here, you know, I have my little library. You know, I made a library of these like little cards too, you know, so like people can like introduce themselves. They're slightly different cards than the ones we used, but you know, I like made all these shapes, you know, it's just like a fun little component set. And the way that I built these was a little bit different, because what people do is, you know, you put your photo behind the shape,
Right, making
you
it
know.
super easy.
Yep. And then like, you know, you just copy paste it. So it's like, you know, you can make stuff in Figma and kind of like test out the bounds, right? Like test out the auto layout bounds of it a little bit.
Right. That's awesome.
And I'll show you one last thing. I like using it for wireframes. So like when I draw my wireframes, right, I'll hold on the shift key and use the marker tool, right? And like I'll draw stuff out, and then I'll make a group of it, and then like I'll duplicate it, right? And then so instead of like, because like I'm a sucker for like, you know, like a good sketchbook and sketching around, but it's great because like I can make these like nice clean lines, you know. And then I'm like, oh, I want all of these here to be a different color, I'm gonna make those red, you know. So then like I need to duplicate that screen. All right, cool, give me another screen. And then let's say, you know, this thing here is going to be expanded, so then I just draw in like my expanded view, and I'm holding down the shift key while drawing. And you know, it's a great way. So like I was in a sprint the other week, and you know, everybody was sketching and I'm just there jamming out, and like, you know, oh, okay, cool, I need another iteration of this, so I just duplicate it, I created it as a group, and like I have this like fun little like ready-made component that like I almost made, you know. It's like little pseudo components. You know, I could even just, if I hold down shift, I could even do like, you know, the 45-degree angles. So it's really fun to kind of play around with. And then even just take it all and make it purple. So yeah,
Versatile for sure.
yeah, it's really versatile, and it's like you could adapt it to the way that, you know, you yourself work.
That's very cool. So I opened up the microphones. So if anyone is interested just to jump in and ask questions, feel free to do so. I know
Got
some.
it. Hi. Yeah, go ahead, say hi.
Guess some people are shy.
And I think Miggy just did such a good job that there are no questions.
I know, right? That's what I was thinking.
And then, yeah, lastly, the only other things that are really coming up, we got plugins and widgets coming soon. So plugins are going to be just like Figma plugins. Actually, I think I can't show you on this, but plugins are going to give you the ability to do things like same things that you do in Figma, any kind of like batch operations. So you can make like a personal plugin for your company or like use ones from the community. And then widgets are going to be like shared things. So imagine being able to play tic-tac-toe with like, or Connect Four, with your teammates, but just having it there and that being able to interact with that game interface. So widgets and plugins are going to be coming down the pipe. They announced it for developers like a few weeks ago. So you'll probably see coming up pretty soon widgets and plugins becoming available that are made by other people with the launch.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, this was really, really insightful. Thank you for doing this, Miggy.
Cool. It's my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
We appreciate it, Miggy. Thank you so much.
All right, guys. Any more questions from you guys, Jonathan or Jackie?
No, just thanking Miggy again and thanking everyone for showing up and supporting our Miami chapter, Friends of Figma Miami chapter. And like I mentioned before, if you guys have any requests for content or anything that you'd like to see, let us know. We have a couple events planned for the next few months. But yeah, we love to hear from you guys, and we really appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much.
Yes, just want to echo what Jackie and Beta have said. Miggy, thanks so much. We want to see you back, of course, with more of this awesomeness. And then yeah, let's connect. Find us online if you want to connect. If you want to hear more, or if you're interested in helping us as well in becoming part of Friends of Figma as a collaborator. So
Cool. Yeah, I run Friends of Figma Educators, and like most recently we did like a educators crossed over with illustrators. We did like Friends of Figma Educators Illustrators. So like maybe there's something too we could do where like we get like University is there a University of Miami, like I don't know, what's the prominent university in Miami? I'm trying to think.
UM.
UM. Yeah, like do like a little UM thing. That might be kind of fun.
That'd be really cool. Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. So thank you so much, Miggy, for your time. Thank you everyone that joined. And thank you for congratulations for the first year. I was glad to have you, Miggy, for this event today.